I'm back with another story. And this one is going to be a deep cut. It's a deep cut. We're going to go ahead and, with the magic of editing, boom, I present to you this right here. You see that? Movie magic. Eloping. The word elope. It's a crazy word, and it's a word that I think strongly indicates the fact that I was homeschooled, because it is not a current word, nor has it been a current word since Jane Austen. But I know it, and I know it well enough to know that I have done it. I've eloped, and nobody knows this story except for a small group of people. But seeing as we're telling stories about me, we'll go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. So I eloped, and that was in 2014. Yes, 2014. And I hid this fact from my parents. I hid this fact from everyone except for one of my siblings, because she came to live with me, and the evidence was in my house, so I just went ahead and told her. But that's just backstory. I eloped. So my family has believed that I've been married for 9 years, and actually I've celebrated my 10-year anniversary earlier this month. So yay for 10 years. Woo-hoo! But this is how they found out. Yeah, just let that marinate for a minute. Talk about the cost of fame. But it's really not for fame. It's just I'm telling stories, and it's an interesting story. Why did I elope? I eloped because me and my wife were pretty much in the throes of young love, you would say. It really just came down to the fact that me and my virgin wife were ready to not be virgins, so to speak. I had lost my virginity. I can admit that, just being honest. It's a valid part of the story. I lost my virginity before I met my wife. However, she was a virgin. So I immediately was drawn to that because she presented a challenge. And I didn't want a girl who was easy. So I ended up pursuing her because she was a challenge. And the challenge was that I wasn't going to get the draws until there was a ring on her finger. To which my retort at that moment was, so the ring has to be physically on your finger, correct? And she said,
the wedding ring, not the engagement.
I was like, you crafty little sea biscuit. Mm-hmm. Crafty. But okay. All right. So I got to apply a little bit more thought to this. And that resulted in me talking to her on the phone every night. And for perspective, I have always hated talking on the phone. But for her, I talked to her every night. We fell asleep on the phone all the time. And that's really near and dear to me. But that's how I met, or how our relationship started. And then I moved to Alabama into her house with her parents. And that was an experience. But we're not going to talk about that in this particular story, because the real story is the fact that I eloped. But these were the conditions that me and my wife dated in. Our relationship grew and blossomed in. It had gotten to that point where we were one of two couples in the church. And we were very much in love, and they were getting married, and we knew we were going to get married. We just didn't know when exactly. And I remember we were having a conversation in the living room, and my wife Tanya just blurted out that we were ready to get married. And her mother asked her why. And I'll never forget it. This has absolutely happened. Tanyel said, well, it's because I've been thinking about sex every day. What? And I'm not gonna lie, I was not prepared for this answer. And I was a little intimidated in that moment because her dad was in the room too. So it was kind of like, there was this immediate conflict within myself of being like, they know I want to do things to their daughter. And not just that, but she wants me to do things to her. And she's letting them know as well. And I kind of had that Danger Will Robinson type moment right there. But at that moment, wisdom came all into the whole situation, and the parents are parents. They understood. Because the Bible also says that, better for men to be married
than burn.
So, I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea here. That was kind of the jump off right there. And at that moment, we were like, well, we've got like a month to make this happen, because we had already had an ideal season and time period that we wanted to get married in the first place, because we had been having those conversations. So pretty much at that point, the only thing to do was, as it used to be said, nothing to it but to do it type moment. And I was on board. So we got married, and I did not tell my folks, for the simple fact that I knew that they wouldn't have time or money or the funds to get down here for the wedding. Like, because I'm very realistic about it. It is a month away. Like, it takes a lot to try and get several adults lined up just for like a single day if you all live in the city. Like, but mine live way away from me. So I was like, that's just going to be horrible to put that stress on them and then have them feel like they missed out because they couldn't be there. So I eloped, and got married. And when we did get married, I felt very celebrity-esque, because we had distinctly asked people not to take any pictures, not to put any of this up on Facebook or any social media, because my parents didn't know. What? And everybody obeyed that. And to that, I'm like, you guys were great people. That's why we invited you. Thank you. But outside of that, I also knew that I was burdening myself with a deep, deep secret, much like taking on the mantle of Batman, where it's a dark secret that must be maintained at all costs. For who knows what the damage would be, both direct and collateral. And to that, I say this platform has kind of been like, let's do it. Because I can't really be shy about stuff. I can't. Not if this is what I want to do. So, we eloped. But I love my parents and my family so much. And my in-laws and my wife are so considerate and so awesome that we had a second wedding on our first year anniversary. And that second wedding was the wedding that we invited my folks to, so that they could be a part of it and feel as if they were there for the first one. And I know that at the surface, somebody would say, well,
that's very deceitful.
And to that, I say, no, it isn't.
Because to elope was my decision. That was my decision. That had nothing to do with them. But in making my decision, I considered their feelings. So, that is why I eloped. And that is why I had the second wedding. Not because I just wanted to have an explosive first anniversary party, which to that end, it was fantastic. It was great, and it was definitely enjoyable. But also because I love my folks that much that I didn't want to hurt them that way. So yeah, that's a story. Not necessarily because it needed to be funny, but that's the story. It's an incredible story because, you see, a lot of people, they say, you know what, I'm going to write a book someday. And to that, I say, well, that's all well and good, but people don't read like that. So instead of writing a book, I'm making a YouTube channel. Voila. And that is the end of that story. Oh, the phone calls. I hope not, but if they happen, they happen. Hi, Mom.